Hello, beautiful peaches. Welcome to the Macros, Metabolism, and Motivation Beautiful Peach podcast. I'm your host, Caitlen, here to help you find your most unwavering love, beauty, and kindness for yourself inside and out. I will be teaching you nutrition and macro tracking secrets, reverse diet and metabolism health tips and tricks, and motivating the heck out of you so you want to leap up and start conquering your goals right away. I am here to help bring you the light at the end of the tunnel so you can discover that self-love and truly become the most confident, beautiful peach possible. So grab a pen and a piece of paper, or if you're in the car or at the gym, go ahead and bump up your volume just a little so we can drown out those gym grunters next to you, and we can go ahead and dive right in. Don't forget to snag your completely free high-protein macro cookbook by simply doing a 5-star rate and review on this podcast. All you need to do is submit a 5-star rate and review, then send us your name and email through the link in the show notes so we know exactly where to send your cookbook. By submitting your 5-star rate review, this will also automatically enter you into the weekly podcast macro calculator giveaway. Every week, I give away a copy of my C. Schmidt macro calculator to one lovely winner who leaves an awesome 5-star rate and review. This winner is announced every week on my Instagram story as well as my newsletter email list. So leave that 5-star rate and review, and I'll see you in the episode. What is up, beautiful, beautiful peach? Today we are talking about the very important question: if you have weight to lose, should you reverse diet? Should you reverse diet if you have 5 pounds to lose, 10 pounds to lose, 20, 50, 100? If you have to lose weight, should you reverse diet? Now, we've got 2 scenarios to cover for this. The first one's actually a little bit easier, and the second one is likely going to relate to more of you, but I want to make sure all bases are covered. So when it comes to losing weight, we do need to be in a calorie deficit. However, not all calorie deficits will work. So for our first scenario here, let's just say that you are not in a calorie deficit. Let's say that you are eating a surplus of calories, likely over 2,000 calories. You've never been in a diet, you're eating a surplus of calories. You're safe to go into a calorie deficit because your metabolism is not at a lower place. You are not and have not ever been in a calorie deficit, and your metabolism's in a safe space, safe enough to go into a calorie deficit to lose that weight. And then once you are done with that calorie deficit, you will still want to reverse diet so you can heal your metabolism, get it back up after that phase of being at a lower calorie intake. That first scenario is pretty basic. You have never been restricting. You are not currently restricting. You are eating in a surplus. And yes, that's safe for you to go into a calorie deficit. Go for it. In full support. Do not go into a mass calorie deficit. Don't just cut your calories down to 1,200. You do want to be very intentional to make sure that you are having the adequate fat loss. And if you're someone who's really wanting to gain muscle, if we cut too fast, we can start to lose that muscle mass. So you really want to make sure you're doing it properly. But that is it for another episode. The second scenario is you want to lose the weight and you are also currently in a calorie deficit. Now, let me do an example here because I love scenarios. I like to visualize things. I'm also a very visual person. I love analogies. If you have been listening to my podcast for a while, you will know I love analogies. So let's say that we are in a 1,500 calorie deficit in this current moment. Let's say, for the sake of the example, that you were eating 2,000 calories before deciding to go into that calorie deficit. Then you cut down to that 1,500 calorie point. You might have seen some weight loss happen at the beginning of that calorie deficit. You're like seeing some changes happen. And then it actually started to go into a plateau. The longer that you were in that calorie deficit, you might even see some weight regain happening. And you still want to lose more weight. Let's just say for the sake of this example, you want to lose 25 more pounds and you're still in this 1,500 calorie place, okay? At this point, you're like, hey, I want to lose more weight. I want to lose 25 more pounds. I'm eating 1,500 calories. I probably should go into an even further calorie deficit. But first, we need to actually address why your weight loss has stalled at that 1,500 calorie point, because this is really important. when it comes to seeing successful weight loss and avoiding that weight regain. So there's a term called metabolic adaptation. This is what I wrote my master's thesis on, so it's my favorite topic to chat about. I think anytime I ever talk about the human metabolism and metabolic adaptation, I'm like, I love it. I wrote my thesis. I'm excited. So the first thing here is essentially think about this as a slow metabolism, just because metabolic adaptation is a little bit of a mouthful. It's basically the same thing as a slow metabolism. The word metabolic from metabolic adaptation, metabolic, think metabolism, adaptation, think adapting. It is adapting to a lower calorie intake. So as you are consistently eating at that 1500 calorie point, your metabolism is actually adapting to that lower calorie point. And that is your new set point from where your metabolism is going to be sitting. So what happens is when we are in this calorie deficit and we want to lose more weight, our metabolism, now we've learned, right, because of metabolic adaptation, when we are in this space, metabolic adaptation is also actually our body responding. And I'll talk about this in a little bit. I'll get into this a little bit more. Scientifically, it's actually our body responding to the lower levels of food. And it's actually going to start to down-regulate a lot of our body's functions, our energy, our libido. A lot of women lose their periods. So many different things. Hormonal imbalances happen, but we'll get into that a little bit deeper shortly. So our natural reaction when we are in a calorie deficit, for this example, 1,500 calories, and we have 25 pounds more to lose, is to go into an even further calorie deficit. In reality, a lot of people, which is why I love sharing this education, because of the diet industry, a lot of people don't realize that sometimes eating less is actually going to cause us to have even longer problems, even bigger problems, more of that weight regain happening and down-regulating a lot of our body's functions even more, which is creating even longer-term problems. So in this case, let's just say for the sake of this example, we have somebody who was eating 1,500 calories and they decide they want to lose more. They're going to go into a even further calorie deficit and they go down to a 1,200 calorie place. Sometimes women do see some more weight loss happen, but usually it's very, very slim. Some women will be pushed even further into a plateau and some will actually start to see the weight regain happening. Mentally, this is absolutely frustrating, right? You're in this space where you very well might be binge eating. You will feel very restricted. You might see that weight regain that I've mentioned, and it's going to start to impact your mentality. Scientifically, this is where I want to talk through, coming back to that term metabolic adaptation and what this means. Our metabolism is slowing down to a lower point. Our metabolism is trying to keep up with us putting it at a lower place. Our body, its main goal is to keep us functioning, to keep us living, to keep us alive and healthy and well. And when we are putting ourselves into a massive calorie deficit, we are putting a lot of stress on our body. And a lot of women don't realize that the more stress we are putting on our body, the more our body's actually going to negatively react, because that's not how our body is meant to function, is meant to live, is meant to thrive. When we're going into this calorie deficit and we have our metabolism adapting to a lower level, it is a safety mechanism to protect itself from starvation. Our body cannot tell whether it is out in the woods, you can't find food, you're starving, right? You are hunting for food, but you can't find any. Our body cannot tell the difference between you being out in the woods starving versus you being in an intentional calorie deficit and shoving that food down farther and farther. So our body's natural reaction is to literally keep us alive, go into this starvation mode, adapt to all of these lower level intakes of food, and it's trying to keep you functioning. So it does sound so dramatic, but it's literally the way that our body's working. And I remember learning that in school and I was like, oh my gosh, it makes sense. It literally makes sense. Our body is going to promote that weight regain. The systems in our body are working as well. It's going to lower the amount of energy output that we have because we don't have enough fuel to literally fuel the high energy that we need. Our period is going to be lost. There are so many different hormonal imbalances that happen when we are in this prolonged phase of calorie deficits, okay, of pushing our intake down and down. Metabolism slows, libido slows, right? I've talked about periods being lost. One of my clients in BPM just got her period back and I'm very excited for her. When we're not eating enough, where our body's missing out on key nutrients, there are so many nutrient deficiencies. I was eating 900 calories for years, 900 calories, 1,200 calories. I had so many nutrient deficiencies. I had so many blood tests done back then. This was before I had all my education, and actually before I started with a coach when I was at my lowest low. If I had not started with that coach, I don't think I would have been in the same place. But starting with that coach introduced me to the world of actually education and learning the what, the why, and how, which then pushed me into obviously changing my major, getting my master's degree in exercise and sports nutrition, and becoming the biggest nerd when it comes to our body and our metabolism. And again, it doesn't mean that you need to go back to school for 60 years and all that. I'm here to educate you. But my point being is we can't stay in that space if nothing changes. And, I stayed in that space for so long, and now being on the other side, I'm like, oh my gosh, I just want to give my body a hug. It's just here to take care of us. It's here to keep us alive and functioning. Me sitting here recording this podcast episode. Our bodies are incredible. They help carry babies. They help us move. They help us do so many amazing things, so we get to take care of it. I want to interrupt this so lovely podcast episode of mine to let you know that BPM, my beautiful peach mastermind, is open for enrollment. BPM is my high-level group coaching program for women who want to reverse diet to heal their metabolism from that restrictive burnout so they can lose the weight and keep it off for good. It is for women who want to increase their energy and joy for life so they can chase after their kiddos, go out to eat with their significant other, and even have wine night with the girls without that restrict, binge, and food guilt cycle. As a bonus, all of my BPM clients get complimentary access to my reverse diet course, where you will learn exactly how to adjust macros for reverse dieting on your own. This quite literally includes my own personal spreadsheets that help you customize your reverse diet for your success. I even threw in my alcohol plug-and-play tracker for you ladies. Go ahead and apply through the link in the show notes or hop over to my Instagram and feel free to send me the DM BPM sneak peek for my inside look of the program details. I can't wait to see your application and enjoy the rest of the episode. Two things happening, right? Our metabolism is being slowed, is prioritizing energy for essential functions, our brain functioning, and breathing, living, right? So it's trying to keep you alive. And then the second thing is there's many other systems in our body that are out of whack. I always talk about this gear example because I'm a very, very visual person. And when we think about different gears in a machine, let's say that we've got one main gear and we've got all these other gears around it. What's going to happen is if this one gear is a little bit wonky, it's going to start to impact all of the other gears around it. And all of those other gears are not going to be working at its max capacity either. And so all of those other gears are going to start to slow down. When we are in this lower calorie intake, let's say our metabolism starting to get wonky, right? Let's say this main gear is our lower calorie intake, our massive restriction. Our metabolism gear is going to start to slow. Our energy gear start to slow. Libido gear start to slow. Period. Gone. It has stopped. All of these other gears are starting to slow down and our body's not working at its max capacity because we are not fueling it properly. So when it comes to wanting to lose weight, I freaking love the fact that you want to lose weight. And also sometimes we just need to give ourselves the reality check that the diet world pushes us into these quick fixes. We might have done a little bit of diet damage. We get to heal that, and then we get to also continue seeing that weight loss happen. Some really good questions here, and then I actually want to take another deep dive. I've got some good deep dives here, but some questions just to take a pause as we're talking about that is the reality check that sometimes we need to get, okay? So questions that you can ask yourself. What is it that I've been doing to try and lose weight? What is it that I've been doing that has pushed me into a plateau? For example, I've been dieting, I've been restricting, I've been hoping for quick fixes, I have been jumping from diet to diet. How has it impacted me mentally and physically? Example, mentally, I am now stuck in this binge restrict cycle. I see food as good food and bad food. I don't feel good about my body. Physically, you are seeing this weight regain. Your body feels off. Your energy is off. You have low libido. You are not feeling good. What do you need to do instead? Oftentimes, it means stopping with the quick fixes. It means really leaning into the education of the way that our body works. And I can help you with that. And also it means doing something that is often outside of what the diet industry pushes. Diet industry, society pushes lower calorie intakes for absolutely everything. There are certain apps that talk about this all the time where you just type in your height, your weight, your age, activity factor, and it just shoots out these numbers. And it's like, all right, you get this numbers, you get this numbers. And it's like, you've not paid attention to what's going on with the person's metabolism. What I call human factor, it's you, your metabolism, your body, your diet history, your goals, all these different pieces need to be taken into account when it comes to creating a solid game plan for you. I always say that I have been coaching for years. I have worked with hundreds of clients. It has to be custom to you. What we are doing needs to be custom to you. And we cannot just keep shoving calorie deficits in your face and putting on Band-Aids after Band-Aid. I always say this, 90% of dieters gain the weight back and then some. So we have to take that step away from that quick fix mentality, from that instant gratification, and start leaning into healing, understanding that it will not happen in a week. It will not happen in months. But if you take the time now to start healing, you can look back a year from now and say, heck to the yes, I am so glad that I did that. I am so glad that I decided to step up for myself because nobody's coming to save me. I get to do it for myself. And start to do that healing process. And yes, obviously I say no one's going to do it for you. Truly, this is why I do what I do. I am a full-time coach. This is why I started my company after I finished my master's degree, to help women like you heal from the inside out. However, I can't eat for you. I can't take action for you. I can be there to support you every single step of the way. And I get so excited to support my clients. But you are the one who gets to take that action and who gets to show up for yourself, who gets to do the action steps that I give you, to do that work, to track your macros, to reverse diet, to put in the work, to come to me when you need support. And when it comes to seeing that long-term change, we get to accept that a year from now, we can either look back and say, wow, I am so proud of myself, or look back and feel disappointment in the fact that we have not changed, we have not leaned into asking for support, into the reverse diet, into tracking macros. I think that one of the really important things that I see just in the nutrition industry and the diet industry is we don't feel like we need to ask for help. We feel like that nutrition and just knowing what to do to lose weight should be easy, but it's not. After 6 years of education, of learning the human metabolism, of learning all the mechanisms, oh my gosh, those classes, the number of hours I studied, whoo, it's a lot. But it's nice for me to be able to break it down and make it understandable and take you step by step through what needs to be done. So you're not going from one Google search to the next, from one social media post to the next, being like, all right, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Okay, so I shouldn't be eating carbs. Oh, I can't be eating carbs after dark. Oh, shoot, I guess I shouldn't be eating anything after dark. All these different rules and diets and all this nonsense out there. No, we get to take a step back and we get to really lean into understanding that it's okay to ask for help. And when you think about it, everybody has their own expertise. I say this all the time. Can you imagine if we broke a bone and we're like, I'm just going to fix it? No, it wouldn't do that. That's silly. That's so silly. I have so much props for women who are teachers. Not my expertise, not my place. I think I'd have a fun time with the kids, but I wouldn't be a good teacher. I haven't been taught to do that. And I have been taught how to help women lose that weight sustainably in a way that fits their life, in a way that allows you to heal your metabolism, in a way that allows you to take your food freedom back, and in a way that helps you heal from the inside out. And weight loss is more than just weight loss. It's so much more than just weight loss. Weight loss is healing all systems in your body that are downregulated. It is gaining that self-worth back. It is gaining that love for yourself. It is stopping hiding from your significant other because you feel good in your body. It is education of understanding and knowing what needs to be done. It's going out to dinner without fearing being off track. There are so many things. It is not just weight loss. It's going out to eat with your kids and enjoying those experiences while feeling amazing in your body. Those reasons are essential to you and to your happiness. I think a lot of times we start to think that our health and our own self-care is not essential. And I get it. I am somebody who likes to take care of others. If you are an Enneagram person, I'm a type 2, so I like to take care of others. I like to make sure everyone else is taken care of, usually before myself. And I had to have this reality check of if we're pouring from a glass that is empty, we're actually not going to be pouring into those other glasses. We're going to start taking from other people's glasses. We're not going to show up as our fullest, our best self. And so we get to take care of ourselves first because we are worthy of it, because those around us need us to take care of ourselves in order to actually take care of them. And for us to live a happy and healthy life, to live a long life, we have to take care of us. One of the big things that I see is in a world, right, we can't control so many things that go on in the world. We really can't. And that's okay. We can control and we can take care of ourselves. So take control, take care of yourselves. That is something that you can take care of. If you're someone who's like, oh my gosh, yes, I am in a calorie deficit. I just want to lose that extra 25 pounds. I just want to lose that 50 pounds. I just want to lose that extra 100 pounds, but I've been eating 900 calories. Take care of you, take care of your body, do a reverse diet, heal your metabolism. Then you can safely lose that weight without having all that weight regained, without having to go into these crazy deficits. As I always say, I'm here to support you. If you need me, please let me know. I am here for you. And so to do a little recap here, if you need to lose weight and you are eating in a calorie deficit, you do need to do a reverse diet. Sometimes we just have to have that tough love with ourselves. Sometimes we have to have somebody else say it to us. Big old bear hugs your way. If you are in a calorie deficit and you need to lose weight, you want to do a reverse diet and then safely lose that weight. If you are eating in a mass calorie surplus, go ahead and do that calorie deficit. Either way, I support both sides of the coin and I support my clients through all of those different pieces. So with all of this, I hope you enjoyed this episode and I will see you in the next one. Bye, my beautiful peach. Don't forget to snag your completely free high-protein macro cookbook by simply doing a 5-star rate and review on this podcast. All you need to do is submit a 5-star rate and review, then send us your name and email through the link in the show notes so we know exactly where to send your cookbook. By submitting your 5-star rate review, this will also automatically enter you into the weekly podcast macro calculator giveaway. Every week, I give away a copy of my C. Schmidt macro calculator to one lovely winner who leaves an awesome 5-star rate and review. This winner is announced every week on my Instagram story as well as my newsletter email list. So leave that 5-star rate and review, and I'll see you in the next episode.